The biggest land scam in Jammu and Kashmir. A land scam worth 25,000 crore. India Today accesses the report that records the loot. Big political war between BJP and Gupkar alliance on Roshni land scam. Plunder in paradise is our top focus on India First.
Systematic plunder of paradise and systematic plunder that went on year after year, decade after decade. We'll get you the anatomy of the land scam. I'm Gaurav Sawant, action-packed 30 minutes. Let's get started with the headlines. India has handed over details of Pakistan's involvement in the latest Nagrota infiltration and terror attempt. Proof of Pakistan's complicity has been given to multiple diplomats and attaches. India's got details of Pakistan's involvement and a detailed dossier has been submitted to various ambassadors and envoys. India has also briefed envoys on Pakistan's involvement in the Nagrota incident. Remember, 4 Pakistani Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists had infiltrated from the Samba sector. There is proof of Pakistan's state complicity from the point at which infiltration started to the equipment that's been recovered, medicines made in Pakistan, grenades made in Pakistan, 11 assault rifles, all the other stuff that proves Pakistan's complicity, including electronic intelligence and evidence, has been submitted to various envoys so that the world can see how Pakistan continues to be a state sponsor of terror. I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Shiv Aroor for more on this story. Shiv, you've been speaking to your sources in the Ministry of External Affairs. What more can you tell us about this dossier of Pakistan's involvement in Nagrota?
Gaurav, the Nagrota interception has just taken place, barely 4 days ago. And so this was a dossier of everything that was put together. As we've been discussing here on India Today, this was an extremely clean operation without any collateral damage. But the follow-up operation that took place, not just during the interception, but before it and after it, has allowed the security forces to put together an extremely detailed dossier which contains the name of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the name of the locations from which this terror attack was possibly launched, the possible location of the handlers, all of the equipment that was involved, the logistics, the use of the drones, the follow-up operation, the interception of mobile communications, and various other things that have not yet come out. So this is an extremely elaborate and detailed terror dossier that's been shared with the diplomats in Delhi at this time, Gaurav. This is standard operating procedure for India's diplomatic machinery, of course, because as you well know, Gaurav, and you and I both covered this in great detail, handing over dossiers to Pakistan has never ever achieved anything but sharing India's anti-terror activities and information and intelligence with countries around the world is precisely what has added to diplomatic pressure on Pakistan. That's something that's not visible to the eyes, but it has built up over time. So it's something that India is very, very committed to.
And at 10:30, Shiv and I will discuss in detail about evidence of Pakistan's involvement, also the terror tunnel, how Pakistan Army engineers were involved in drilling that tunnel underneath the barbed wire fence at the international border in Samba. Much more on that at 10:30. But Shiv, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. A terror state needs to be named and shamed with evidence for the world to know they must beware when they deal with a state sponsor of terror called Pakistan. But for the moment, I want to shift focus to our top story, and this is an India Today special investigation. We get you details of the Roshni land scam. This is the biggest land scam in Jammu and Kashmir. 25,000 crore rupees, and several governments, whether the government led by Farooq Abdullah of the National Conference, of Mufti Mohammad Saeed, the PDP, or Ghulam Nabi Azad of the Congress party. And there are questions that 3 chief ministers, when they were chief ministers, this was a scam which actually went for about 2 decades. Now details are coming out, but was there also an attempt to change the demographic profile of Jammu? That's a grave allegation that's now being leveled. It's also a matter of investigation by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Chitra Tripathi brings you our top story tonight.
Kashmir, the paradise on earth. It's not just our envious neighbor who is eyeing a slice of the paradise. Even those who claim to be working in the interest of Jammu and Kashmir have been allegedly plundering the erstwhile state. It all began with the state government enacting the Jammu and Kashmir State Lands Act in 2001. The Roshni Act aimed to transfer ownership of state land from the state to its occupants, subject to the payment of a cost. The revenue generated was to be spent on commissioning hydroelectric power projects. But in 2014, a CAG report found that against the targeted 25,000 crore rupees, only 76 crore rupees had been realized from the transfer of encroached land. The act was scrapped by J&K Governor Satyapal Malik in 2018.
That Kashmiri leaders have been not only looting the state exchequer, but they have also looted the precious land in Kashmir. They have purchased the most expensive locality lands in Kashmir at throwaway prices.
The court had directed the administration to disclose the names of politicians, bureaucrats and other powerful people who were benefited by the Roshni Act. So it is in that context that these names are coming up. The names of ex-chief ministers Farooq Abdullah and Mahbooba Mufti has come up. The name of ex-finance minister of the state, Hasib Prabhu, has come up.
Complying with the High Court's orders, the Jammu and Kashmir administration has already stated that it's going to reveal the names of all the bigwigs linked to the Roshni scam. The activists and the lawyers associated with the Roshni case have said that once these names are made public, a political earthquake is going to occur in Jammu and Kashmir. With Chitra Tripathi in New Delhi and camera person Neeraj Kumar, this is Sunil Bhatt reporting from Jammu for India Today.
So when you had political leaders in Kashmir chanting Azadi slogans, was it Azadi for corruption? When you had political leaders who were saying Tirange ko koi kandha dene wala nahi rahega, was it an attempt to shield corruption? And when political leaders were seeking China's help for the restoration of Article 370, was it to ensure that the truth does not come out in this 25,000 crore rupee Roshni land scam? Let me quickly bring in our guest, but before I bring in my guest, I want to quickly cut across to India Today's Chitra Tripathi, who's accessed details of this dossier that's now being prepared, which names and shames those who are allegedly involved in this biggest land scam of Jammu and Kashmir. Chitra, what more can you add? Jammu Kashmir का अब तक का सबसे बड़ा जमीन घोटाला है। 1990 का लैंड रेगुलराइज करना था और मुफ्ती मोहम्मद सईद ने उसे 2004 तक किया और गुलाम नबी आजाद ने 2007 तक, लेकिन भ्रष्टाचार, कथित भ्रष्टाचार लगातार चलता रहा। चित्रा,
देखिए गौरव, महत्वपूर्ण सवाल आपने पूछा है, लेकिन ये अभी बहुत शुरुआत है। अभी कुछ नाम सामने आए हैं, माना ये जा रहा है कि आगे आने वाले वक्त में और भी बड़े बड़े नामों का, जिसमें पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री भी हो सकते हैं, उनके नामों का खुलासा हो और वो लिस्ट भी यकीनन हमारे पास आएगी जो हम दर्शकों के सामने रखेंगे। लेकिन ये जो मामला सामने आया है, इसको जानना बहुत जरूरी है। रोशनी एक्ट बनाया गया था ताकि उसके जरिए जो गरीब लोग हैं उनको फायदा पहुंचाया जा सके, जिन्होंने सरकारी जमीन पर अपने घर मकान को बना कर रखा था। लेकिन यहां जिस तरह की बंदरबांट हुई है, और तीनों ही सरकारों, या फिर पीडीपी की बात करें, एनसी नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस की बात करें, या फिर कांग्रेस पार्टी की जब सरकार थी तब की बात करें, तीनों ही सरकारों ने अपने अपने हिसाब से इस एक्ट में परिवर्तन किए, अपनी सहूलियत के हिसाब से इसे बनाया और बिगाड़ा, और फिर फायदा पहुंचाया न सिर्फ खुद को बल्कि इसके साथ ही अपनी पार्टी के तमाम लोगों को। और इसी वजह से ये जो लिस्ट हमारे दर्शक इस वक्त देख रहे हैं सामने, इस लिस्ट में एक तरफ जहां पूर्व वित्त मंत्री का नाम सामने आया है, उनके तमाम फैमिली के दूसरे लोगों का नाम सामने आया है, कांग्रेस पार्टी के नेता है, नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के नेता है। लेकिन आज जो लिस्ट हमें दी गई है उसमें एक तरफ जो रोशनी घोटाला है उसमें कौन कौन से लोग शामिल हैं उसका पूरा जिक्र है। वहीं दूसरी लिस्ट जम्मू कश्मीर में जमीन के अतिक्रमण के मामले में लिस्ट जारी की गई है, जिसमें नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के तमाम नेताओं के नाम है। और इसके जरिए भ्रष्टाचार पर जो जीरो टॉलरेंस की नीति के बाद पिछले ही महीने जब मैं श्रीनगर गई थी, वहां पर उपराज्यपाल मनोज सिन्हा का इंटरव्यू किया था, उस दौरान उन्होंने कहा था कि देखिए भ्रष्टाचार के मामले में जीरो टॉलरेंस की हमारी नीति रहेगी और उसी के तहत इस कार्रवाई को माना जा रहा है। लेकिन यकीनन चूंकि चुनाव भी अब होने जा रहे हैं जम्मू कश्मीर में और 370 अनुच्छेद हटने के बाद ये पहला चुनाव होने जा रहा है, तो यकीनन अब विपक्षी पार्टियां ये कहेंगी कि दरअसल देखिए सरकार डर गई है, बदले की कार्रवाई के तहत ये सब कुछ किया जा रहा है ताकि चुनावों में इसे मुद्दा बनाया जा सके। आरोप प्रत्यारोप का दौर जारी है, लेकिन यकीनन ये जो तमाम नाम है निकलकर सामने आए हैं वो अपने आप में काफी ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण। अब आगे इनको लेकर कैसे बढ़ेगी सरकार, ये देखना दिलचस्प होगा। गौरव,
लेकिन देखिए ना किस तरह से यह कहा जा रहा था कि 25,000 करोड़ रुपए आएंगे जम्मू और कश्मीर में तो गरीबों को रोशनी दी जाएगी, उनको लाइट मिलेगी, हाइडल पावर प्रोजेक्ट लगेंगे। आय महज 76 करोड़ रुपए, ओनली 76 करोड़ रुपीस केम, नॉट 25,000 करोड़। बट लुक एट द अमाउंट ऑफ लैंड, 71,000 acres in Jammu and 4,000 acres in Kashmir, which was just given away at virtually throwaway prices. Who were the beneficiaries? Were they poor people or were they the super rich and the super powerful? That's a question that now needs to be answered, because even the Jammu and Kashmir High Court has said what was happening was blatantly unconstitutional. Is this why such a huge hue and cry against the abrogation of Article 370 by the political leadership in Jammu and Kashmir? I want to bring in our guest. Ankur Sharma is an advocate and the petitioner in this case. He joins us on the show. I have Muzaffar Shah, who's the leader of Awami National Conference, joining me on the show. Iqbal Singh Lalpura is the spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and Kuldeep Khoda is not only former Director General of the Jammu and Kashmir Police, but he was also heading the Vigilance Department of Jammu and Kashmir when this report was initially submitted. And he needs to answer whether action was recommended, taken or not taken, and if so, why. But Ankur, I want to come to you first. You're the petitioner in this case, and I want to understand from you, 71,000 acres of land in Jammu was regularized, about 4,000 acres of land in Kashmir. Why this huge disparity in your appreciation? And you've raised this in court.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the total number of beneficiaries are 30,000 and 25,000 beneficiaries are from Jammu province. Only 5,000 beneficiaries are from Kashmir province. So apart from the court case that we filed on the basis of unconstitutionality of this act and the fact that ACB was not properly investigating the case, there's another angle to this whole issue. And that is the angle of demographic change. Of course, the Jammu was the target of these non-secular theocratic forces. Disguised as mainstream political parties of Kashmir. So maximum lands were to be captured in Jammu province, and the data proves so, because only 5,000 cases were regularized in favor of Kashmir and 25,000 cases were regularized in favor of people living in Jammu province.
That's a very grave charge you are leveling. Is there any evidence? That's a very, very grave charge that you are leveling. What you are saying is that an effort was made to change the demographic profile of Jammu. Is that what you're saying? But you have any proof to back this?
Of course, this is not an isolated attempt. It is only through legislative route. Roshni is one of the tools for changing the demography of the Jammu province. Apart from this, we have 14th February 2018 order passed by Mehbooba Mufti, where she directs the DMs and SSPs in writing in a 4-page order saying that if Muslims encroach lands in Jammu province, you will not take any action against them. It's a 4-page written order. Then you have settlement of Rohingyas and Bangladeshis selectively only in Jammu province. Then you have forest lands and river beds being encroached by members of a particular...
I will come to the Rohingyas in a moment.
I'm saying High Court, J&K High Court directed the second additional principals and district session judge of Jammu to prepare a report about the encroachment of Tavi, river Tavi in Jammu municipality. 668 encroachers. List was prepared.
I want to for the moment stay on the aspect of the Roshni Act and the grave charge that you level of attempting to change Jammu's demographic profile. Muzaffar Shah, that's a very, very grave charge that is being leveled. That 71,000 acres of land was regularized in Jammu, and this was an attempt to change the demographic profile of Jammu region. So this is really sinister if true, Mr. Shah.
Gaurav, thank you for calling me on the show here with all my learned participants. But let me tell you one thing. This is all the Kashmir High Court has already it has heard this case, and the case as of now has been taken up by the Supreme Court of India. So while the matter is in the consideration of the Honorable Supreme Court of India, why is this case being discussed now? And almost 3 to 4 appeals have been put in front of the Honorable Supreme Court.
I'm sorry, is that the best you can come up with?
Here,
is that actually the best you can come up with?
Jammu and Srinagar.
If thousands of acres of land, if 25,000 crore rupee worth of scam has happened, you are not worried about the scam. You're only asking why is media discussing a scam.
Hold on, sir.
Really?
Let me answer.
Really?
I am absolutely... No, sir. I am absolutely worried about the scam. Listen to me. Listen to me, sir. Please. Give me a chance. Please don't interrupt when I am
you are wondering why are we discussing the scam? Instead of being worried that why was there a scam in the first place?
Sir, anybody who has misused the Roshni Act, who can be anyone, he has to be put to task. But giving sweeping statements that finance ministers are involved, chief ministers are involved, that's all humbug. These are all things are coming up when the DDC elections are on. And may I ask you, where have you got these reports from?
Why? In fact, that is the question you should be asking. Why didn't it come up earlier?
Who has given them these to you? Now I am asking you. Who are these people? Now you took the
I'm rather curious. I am curious.
The families.
Why you are worried? Why is it coming out now? Instead of being worried, why is assumption happening? No. Let me take this to Mr. Kuldeep Khoda. I am sorry. Let me take this to Mr. Khoda. Mr. Khoda, is there an attempt?
No, sir, first listen to the answer. Listen to the answer.
Is this deflection? Is this very clever deflection? Is this very clever deflection?
He was the revenue, he was the judiciary,
is this very clever deflection?
All in one. What are you people trying to tell us?
Sir, let me take this to
Mr.
Kuldeep Khoda. Mr. Kuldeep Khoda, is Muzaffar Shah indulging in absolute deflection? I don't care about BJP or Congress or NC. You should be worried about the corruption. You should be worried about the corruption. It seems that you are not. You are more worried about why media raising this.
All these people who you are talking about are second,
can you ask my friend to tone down a bit and so that I can put my point in.
Mr. Khoda is former Director General of Jammu and Kashmir Police. Mr. Khoda, I believe you were also the Chief Vigilance Commissioner of Jammu and Kashmir.
FBI for investigation, and nobody, even if somebody wants to deflect it, it can't be deflected. The act has been declared void by the Honorable High Court.
I can't deflect it. I am talking the truth.
And at the moment, the issue has to be investigated. But coming back to the origin of the report of the CAG, when I was the Chief Vigilance Commissioner, the Principal Accountant General met me and he sent me a copy of the report. We examined the report in the Commission. We found glaring criminal liabilities in the report in the form of the involvement of various levels in the government. And not only the government land was given to people who were undeserving of it, but also the non-agricultural land was shown as agricultural land because that the price for the agricultural land was just a throwaway price of 100 rupees per canal. And beyond that, there were discrepancies in the form of the value which was fixed by the government for regularizing the encroached land or for state land occupied by the encroachers. The value was abnormally low. So it amounted to gifting the land of the state those people who were encroaching this space with the connivance of at various levels. When we examined the report, we sent the report to anti-corruption body for investigation. The commission does not have the investigative powers. Unfortunately, not much happened, and the role of the commission was to recommend only. The recommendation was discretionary. It was for the government to take action on those recommendations. But
perhaps this also needs to be investigated. When you recommended investigation, why was there no investigation carried out? And Iqbal Singh Lalpura, the BJP also needs to respond, as Muzaffar Shah points out. Whenever the scam was happening, whether in 2001, that time there was a BJP government at the center, did it look the other way, or was it complicit? Or when you were a partner with Mehbooba Mufti, the PDP, why was this case not investigated, sir?
Mr. Khuda has very categorically cleared that this investigation was going on. And during investigation, what have we found? That the then chief ministers were not interested in Roshni. They were interested in blackout. They were concerned about looting of the property of the state. And can you imagine 100 rupees per canal is the rate anywhere in the India? So they just looted it. And now, since the act has been declared null and void by the Honorable High Court, and the matter is being investigated by the CBI, everything will become in the public domain. And we will know who are involved and how they have...
But the allegation that Muzaffar Shah is leveling against you is that you are bringing this up... You are only bringing this up ahead of elections, District Development Council elections in Jammu and Kashmir. You only want to tarnish the image of Valley leaders.
No, not at all. Not at all. It is the Honorable High Court who has ordered to investigate the case, and the CBI has registered the cases. It is only on the judicial order that we are implementing those orders and exposing the person involved, that may be the criminals sitting in government offices. We have nothing political about this. It is simply a case of corruption, and now
Muzaffar
these
Shah,
people are being
अगर आर्टिकल 370 ही हटा, अगर आर्टिकल 370 हटा तो तिरंगा को कंधा देने वाला कोई नहीं रहेगा. अगर चाइना की मदद लेंगे 370 रिस्टोर करने के लिए, दिस इज व्हाट द पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप ऑफ द वैली इज सेइंग. Are they saying this so that the truth about Roshni never emerges, Mr. Shah?
गौरव जी, आपको रोशनी एक्ट डिस्कस करना है, फ्लैग डिस्कस करना है, कि आपको चाइना डिस्कस करना है? आप पहले ये डिस्कस कीजिए, आप क्या करने हैं आज यहाँ पर? What are you coming to discuss here? जहां तक आप अभी बता रहे हैं, जिन लोगों का नाम आपके शो पे लिया गया,
so you will go left, right, top, bottom, you will go everywhere. Muzaffar Shah, you are unwilling to answer.
ये तीनों बातें
either you listen to me or don't listen to me. Don't either. मैंने भी बहुत खामोशी से सबका सुना, मेरा भी सुनिए.
No, but you must respond.
What is the problem?
Sir,
you don't want to hear the truth?
नहीं, तो
you are
आप,
talking about
when
China,
I ask you a question, you must answer the question. You cannot deflect.
About China, my
you
dear
cannot
friend.
deflect.
You're talking about...
Do not deflect.
No, you're talking
I've asked you a straight question, please give me a straight answer.
And you're talking about Roshni. What are you wanting to talk? Okay, what are you talking about? Tell me.
Can you talk about Roshni, or are you a beneficiary that you do not want to talk about Roshni and you want to continue to deflect? Why do you want to continue to deflect the main issue, sir?
I am not. Neither.
Are you not worried about 71,000 acres of land or 25,000 crore rupees? 25,000 crore rupees land.
Listen to me, sir. Listen to me, sir.
Then you must
These
respond,
are
sir.
very big, these
Then
are
you
very
must
big
respond.
numbers, what you are giving.
Do not deflect.
Neither
Do
is
not
me,
deflect.
neither myself. Okay, let me respond. Let me.
Sir, I am
let me
not giving
respond,
these
my dear
numbers.
friend.
These are
Please don't
numbers
interject.
given.
Let me respond.
Sir, please respond and please respond and
Let me respond.
please respond with facts.
Let me respond, sir. Let me respond. Let me respond.
With facts.
Let me tell you today in front of the national media, neither myself nor my family, whether it is Farooq Abdullah, whether it is Omar Abdullah, whether it is myself, my family, or my grandfather, we have nothing to do with Roshni scam. Absolutely nothing. Most of the names given by the channels today are authorized occupants. They are not land grabbers. There's an impression, a wrong impression being given. They're not land grabbers at all. None of my family members are land grabbers.
Authorized,
and let me tell you,
where 25,000 crore should have come to the exchequer, only 76 crore came. Only 76. Sir, आप किसको कितना facts को fudge करोगे? कितना facts को fudge करोगे? Ankur, please respond to Muzaffar Shah. Is he on facts when he says whoever is occupying the land, whoever is occupying the land is doing it legally?
No, but you are against them in a couple of days. Because all these people have got these lands at throwaway prices by subverting the law.
You can't make
for
sweeping
instance,
statements.
you have
I'm
National
sorry. You
Conference
can't make
and
sweeping statements like
their
that.
headquarters
That
have
is
been built
25,000
upon state
crores.
lands,
How have you got to
regularized under
25,000
Roshni
crores?
after
How have
getting
you got the
rebates
figure?
as high as
How have you
85%.
got the names?
As far as
From where
Hazeeb
have you got
Raab
the
is
names?
concerned, he has also
Maybe you
got
should ask
rebates
Farooq Abdullah how did he come to the figure of 25,000 crore?
They are encroachers. They are land grabbers. They are encroachers.
And
Farooq
Abdullah's name, has he taken?
FIR
Is he
being registered
beneficiary
against them.
of
Farooq
the Roshni
Abdullah's
Act?
party, National Conference,
saying that?
EG's report says it has built its
No.
headquarters in Srinagar
right?
on
Tell me
state
where.
land,
Tell me where.
grabbed and then regularized under Roshni at a rebate as high as
come on.
85%. And that is how an FIR is going to be registered against it. And he's defending here
Absolutely.
an encroacher, a land grabber,
absolutely
who has
rubbish.
done this
When
in an
the property that you are
FIR,
talking about, National
doesn't
Conference,
know
that was done in my father's time.
You will
Excuse
come
me,
to
sir.
know in the days to come
You're wrong.
how FIRs are registered against these people. And especially
I know the case very well,
Let
sir.
me take this once again. No, let me take this once again to Kuldeep Khoda.
I know
No,
about the- I know
you know,
about the
whoever
case that
joins
you're-
India, those who are joining this India Today
No,
debate
he's
must
talking
go back
about
with
the- he's
facts.
talking about the
You've
National
raised
Conference
a
property in
point.
Kashmir.
Where did this figure of 25,000? Where did this figure of 25,000 crore come? Yes.
In Jammu.
Mr. Khoda, can you
Where
please
did
set
come
Mr.
from the
Muzaffar Shah
25,000
wise?
crore?
Hold on, Ankur. Mr. Khoda. Only Mr. Khoda. Mr. Khoda, can you set Mr. Muzaffar Shah wise on the figure of 25,000? Sir, it does not matter who wins, who loses. India should not lose. India should not lose the revenue that was promised. 25,000 करोड़ का वादा करके 76 करोड़ पकड़ा दिए, औने पौने दाम जमीन का बंदर बाट कर दिया. Mr. Khoda, where did the figure of 25,000 crore come from?
No, it came from the government. Government calculated that by allotting this land at the prices fixed by them, they will earn 25,000 crores, but actually only 76 crores were garnered at the end of it. And incidentally, the report of the CAG was submitted to the government also, besides me, and the government also failed to take any action in spite of the fact that huge irregularities and huge culpabilities were mentioned in the report. And when the state government did not act on the report, it was obviously there was no way out to proceed further until the High Court now gave the investigation to CBI, and it is expected that the culpability will be fixed and the people who are responsible for it will also be answerable to law. That's the present situation.
Mr. Muzaffar Shah, in case
Yes,
those who
very
are
correct,
culpable
very
are brought to
correct,
book,
Mr. Khoda has
again
put it
we'll
very correctly.
hear that India is being brutal,
absolutely.
democracy is being.
Yes,
I am
yes,
sorry.
they will be
You
brought
are
to book.
aware of it. You are aware of it, and yet you deflected.
No, sir.
You,
no, sir.
sir. You are aware where this figure of 25,000 crore came, and
No,
yet
I'm
you were
fully aware of it,
deflecting.
but I'm not
no,
deflecting
sir.
anything.
Sir, let's talk facts.
Don't put.
Then, sir.
Mr.
Yes, you are
Gaurav,
deflecting.
Don't put your words into my
let's
mouth.
stay on
You're
facts.
Wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
Let's call a
and you're
spade a
off the
spade.
track. I am not deflecting.
Sir, let's call a spade a
I am
spade.
saying, as far as the Roshni scheme is concerned,
let's call a spade
no,
a spade.
let me tell you.
Let's call a spade a spade. You were aware. You were aware of the figure of 25,000 crore.
Anybody who has
you were
done,
aware of the figure of 25,000 crore, and yet you brought in that topic.
Will be caught. But you are the authorized occupants. You are saying that they are not authorized.
Let's hope they are caught, because when the CAG report came out in 2014, why were they not caught? Why were they not caught when the CAG report came out in 2014?
The correct history of Jammu and Kashmir.
Oh, now you will give me a lesson in Kashmir's history. Okay, right. Now you will give me Kashmir's history to deflect from the 25,000 crore rupees scam. Okay, Mr. Lalpura, the BJP
are calling authorized occupants as illegal occupants. That is wrong. We will not accept this. BJP
sir,
is
I am
down and out in Jammu
I
and
am
Kashmir.
sure the courts.
You can come up with
I
any
am
number
sure
of,
the courts will set you wiser.
The
courts will set you wiser. But when the report came out, the CAG report came out in 2014.
Not
Mr. Lalpura, why was no action taken in 2014?
His defense is very big. The Maharaja left in 48.
We are awaiting that.
And for the last 72 years, it is the government property. And you people usurp the government land. And you
Sir, I know what I am talking about. You are talking about the Land Grants Act of 1960.
Your family
you are
is
talking
involved
about the
into it.
Land Grants Act of 1960. I know it very well. Land Grants Act of 1960.
You are just shouting.
I want to come back to the point that was raised by the petitioner and advocate Ankur Sharma. Hold on. I'm sorry, put everybody's fader down.
All of you will be exposed.
I want the petitioner Ankur, only facts.
Will be exposed.
Only facts. Only facts.
Ankur, GDC elections. You don't worry. We are ready.
We are winning.
As long as facts emerge in public domain.
But you cannot
let facts emerge. Let facts emerge. Ankur, a very grave charge that is being levelled is an attempt to settle Rohingyas in Jammu. What is the evidence of state complicity if it comes to settling of Rohingyas in Jammu and change of land profile, Ankur?
No, it is not only about settling of Rohingyas in Jammu as far as the demographic invasion of Jammu is concerned. It is also the implementation of 14th February 2018 order, under which Chief Minister of the state directed DM and SSP not to take action only against Muslim encroachers in Jammu province. It's a 4-page order, and it grants legal immunity to Muslims for encroaching lands in Jammu. Then you have what is called as state acquiescence and state
Khoda
in settling.
Sir, let's take this point by point. I want to stay on the issue of let's take this point by point. Ankur. I want Mr. Khoda to respond to the allegation that Rohingyas are being settled in Jammu to change Jammu's demographic profile. Also, the point that is being raised by the petitioner that if members of a certain community encroach land, no case will be registered against them. Is there merit, Mr. Khoda, and you've been Director General of Jammu and Kashmir Police, that this was done with an ulterior motive?
Gaurav, as far as the Rohingyas are concerned, there was an allegation that some of the Rohingyas have been able to obtain the Aadhaar cards, and if they get the Aadhaar cards, they could be then and they have obtained the state subject certificates also that time. Now that the state subject certificate is irrelevant, but that time it was quite relevant, and because of that process of obtaining Aadhaar card and state subject, they could be eligible to get allotment under Roshni Act of the land which they were occupying. But that matter is under investigation. But beyond that, the order which Mr. Ankur is mentioning, that yes, that order was issued. That was quite surprising, and it was brought to the attention of the authorities, and it came widely reported in the press also that time. That was an order which, of course, in any democracy is not issued at all. As far as the authorized occupants are concerned, which Mr. Muzaffar Shah is bringing out,
and yet, Mr. Yes, Lalpura. Go on, sir. Mr. Khoda, complete your sentence, please.
Yes, and as far as the authorized occupants are concerned, yes, there were some people who were allotted the Nuzul land on lease, but in most of the cases, the lease had expired. Once the lease expires, it gets restored back to the state. But yes, there might be few cases where the Nazul land was still on lease. In that way, though, you can call them as authorized occupants, but that's a matter of the investigation which CBI is looking into.
No, as far as, because I just wanted to add up.
Okay, Mr. Shah, would you want to respond
on this
to this very grave charge once again being leveled?
No,
yes, that demographic profile was being changed by getting Rohingyas to settle down in Jammu, Mr. Shah.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you something. No. I'll tell you something. Just because this is a very legal matter and it is pending before the Honorable High Court, Honorable Supreme Court. There are almost 4 to 5 appeals that are there in it. Now there are two things. The factual position regarding the authorized occupants and the leaseholders for unknown reasons were neither mentioned in the PIL nor conveyed to the Honorable High Court by the State Council.
Sir, I've very specifically asked you about Rohingyas.
Unheard.
I've asked you about Rohingyas. You're once again deflecting.
Number two. No. I want to, because I will. No, I'm not deflecting, because I want the country to know the reality. I'll come to the Rohingyas also. All occupants, what like Mr. Khoda just now mentioned, regarding the leaseholds. You see, all occupant leaseholders under J&K. This is under the J&K Land Grants Act 1960. Are not encroacher nor illegal occupants of the state land. They are not. So, the present occupiers of most of the lands in the Kashmir, second, third, fourth generation living on these properties. Now, the guys who have encroached upon government land without,
sir, I've run out of time on this part of the show, but you very carefully chose not to respond to my very specific question of Rohingyas occupying land in Jammu and whether that was done very surreptitiously. But don't worry, sir, truth has an uncanny way of surfacing, and it will.
I can tell you.
Because we'll be tracking that story very closely.
No.
To all my guests, many thanks for joining me. This is something that according to the petitioner, according to the petitioner, this is something very sinister. Let us wait and see what emerges from the Central Bureau of Investigation and whether those who were allegedly involved, remember 25,000 crore rupees was to come to the state to light up Jammu and Kashmir. Certain families did get lit up. They've minted money, but the state got only 76 crore rupees. Now there's a process to get all that land back to the state. Whether that happens or not, we'll be tracking that story very closely. To all my guests, many thanks for joining me. Back, let's now shift focus to the other big story we're tracking here on India Today, and that is the discovery of a tunnel that was used by the 4 Pakistani Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists to infiltrate first into Samba sector, then Nagrota. Their attempt was to get to Srinagar. Their aim was a big terror attack on the anniversary of 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. But it's the tunnel that's most sinister, made with military precision and expertise. Were Pakistan Army engineers involved in this? Shiv Arur and Sunil Ji Bhatt with this report.
Another Pakistani lie busted. More evidence that Pakistan is pushing terrorists into India. A tunnel discovered in Samba district of Jammu has revealed how the Jaish terrorists who were shot down in Nagrota entered India. The attack tunnel is 150 meters long with 20 feet depth. About 110 meters of it is on the Indian side of the border.
There you can see the terror tunnel. This was detected by the BSF based on the inputs that were provided to them by the Jammu and Kashmir police. And the 4 Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists who had infiltrated on the intervening night of November 18 and 19 had infiltrated through this tunnel. They had used this tunnel to infiltrate into Jammu and Kashmir, and this is a new modus operandi of Pakistan. Now it's pushing terrorists through tunnels into Jammu and Kashmir so that they can create mayhem in Jammu and Kashmir.
The tunnel, built under the international border fencing, appeared freshly dug with even steps constructed. Officials found tools used to dig the tunnel, biscuit wrappers and sandbags, all of which carried labels of Pakistani firms. The BSF said the tunnel was well camouflaged with soil and bushes to prevent detection.
there is a thick foliage of trees and heavy circunda. From there they have dug this tunnel. So observation in that area is difficult.
The tunnel clearly proved that the attack was well planned and backed by Pakistan establishment.
There are certain digging tools which also have been found, like a rope, some planks, and a few other equipments which are used for making of the tunnel. Those also have been detected here.
On Monday, Foreign Secretary Harsh Shringla briefed a select group of foreign missions on the planned attack in Nagrota and Pakistan's continued support to terror groups.
Sources in the security establishment have told us that there is presence of terrorists on the launch pads, terror launch pads on the other side of the line of control, as well as on the other side of the international. Security forces are not taking any chances. Strict vigil is being maintained, and here enemy cannot be trusted. Enemy can resort to any kind of misadventure, but our security forces are ready to take on Pakistan and foil their nefarious designs. With video journalist Neeraj Kumar, this is Sunil Bhatt reporting from the international border in Jammu Samba sector for India Today.
Shiv Arur, my colleague, stays with me on this broadcast, as is Kuldeep Khoda, former Director General of the Jammu and Kashmir Police. Shiv, give us the dimensions of this tunnel, and can a tunnel of this dimension, whether it's 20 feet deep or 150 meters long, can it be made without military knowledge and expertise, Shiv?
Very difficult for something like this to happen without military precision. This particular tunnel has all the hallmarks of possibly the application of military engineers. The fact that the tunnel was even constructed without being detected in this particular sector where the Indian BSF patrols is itself testimony to the fact that this was done with a certain amount of stealth, to evade detection. Apart from that, 20 feet deep, 150 meters long is no joke, Gaurav. You and I both know that it takes more than a smile to create a tunnel like that. It would have taken a lot of earth-moving equipment, a certain amount of planning, a certain amount of subterfuge, rubber-tipped equipment, and heavy equipment to actually conduct all of this. Decoy diggings in other places along the border to distract attention, to make it look like it was completely normal. So all of these things cannot be put down to any civilian agency. I'm sure the Pakistan military must have been involved in this. And given that tunnels of this kind have been constructed before, this is one of the longest and tightest tunnels that have been constructed so far. I wouldn't be surprised at all if evidence comes up very soon of direct military involvement.
Okay, 10 such tunnels have been built in the past. This, of course, is a longer one. We've had tunnels which are about 200 meters long, about 100 meters plus inside Indian territory. And Mr. Khoda, this would actually point to two things. One, intelligence failure on our part. Two, perhaps even complicity, because whichever is the farmer who may be tilling that land would know that there is a hole coming up in his area.
Gaurav, as has been rightly pointed out, there have been several instances in the past of tunnel being used for infiltrating. And as far as connivance of Pakistan Army is concerned, it is not only connivance, but it is active aiding and abetting, and because the equipment and earth-taking equipment and all the paraphernalia is provided from the other side, and the action is obviously through the military expertise. But as far as our side is concerned, the BSF is guarding the international border, and this border compared to the LOC is not as densely manned as the LOC. So the requirement is that having in-depth deployment, because 150-meter long tunnel goes deep into the second and third line of defense where the BSF is not deployed. So obviously it has opened up in somebody's private land, and the information could not reach the authorities in time. That's a matter which needs to be looked into. But at the same time, we have to appreciate the intelligence which came in, which helped the security forces in taking on the terrorists, allowing them to reach up to a point where there can be no civilian casualties, where the local population will not be affected, or where the terrorists can't escape even if they manage to jump out of the truck. They were effectively neutralized at a point convenient to our operational requirement. And this is, on the other hand, this is a very good piece of intelligence,
absolutely.
because
That point
they were
taken
monitored right
entirely.
from the border. Sorry?
That point taken entirely, sir. But the fact
Yeah.
also remains,
But
Shiv,
what is
that
Gaurav, I
if
want to
four
underline
terrorists
one
came
point
in
is
and
that-
this four group was neutralized,
Yeah, I want to underline
the
one point.
others could have managed to escape, Shiv, because the fact that this tunnel was not known is a cause for grave concern. Mr. Khota, I'm just coming back to you. But Shiv, the fact that Pakistan Army may have been involved in helping dig this tunnel, mud would have been taken out, it would have been scattered in some area, somewhere our drones should have caught it. We need to perhaps man our borders better, given that in winter months, this is the route for infiltration that Pakistan will increasingly now use, Shiv. Okay, I'll just take a moment and try and reestablish that link with my colleague Shiv Arur in a moment. But Mr. Khota, our unmanned aerial vehicles should have seen the changes that are happening at the international border. Also, with snows covering the higher reaches, this will be the preferred route for infiltration in the weeks and months to come. So perhaps this is where BSF needs to increase its deployment and patrolling.
Absolutely, Gaurav. This is a preferred route of infiltration, especially during winter. And this is a route where they can reach the highway. They have to just cross the border, and within 10 kilometers, they reach the highway where from they can take transport, as has been done in this case. But when I was heading the J&K police, the requirement of the BSF has been projected since that time for increasing the density of deployment of the forces, because the distance between two OPs of the BSF is quite huge. And it is not physically possible for the OPs to work in coordination to prevent the infiltration totally. And therefore, the requirement of the MHA is that they should increase the deployment of the BSF on this IB. Beyond that, the second line of defense, which is there, where the army is deployed, that also needs to be activated. And I would seriously use this platform to recommend that the type of equipment which is available to the army, that should be provided to the BSF also, and MHA and MOD needs to coordinate on this requirement, so that this border, the international border, can be very effectively managed. BSF is quite capable of doing it. The only requirement is of the type of equipment given to the army, and also
no, you're absolutely right. They need more equipment, they need more manpower. This is a threat you have to deal with at all points of time. But Shiv, the fact that terrorists have used this route to infiltrate even in the past, whether it was the Samba terror attack or terrorists trying to get to Gurdaspur, from this route they can target Jammu, they can target Kathua, Samba, Hiranagar belt, they can even target Punjab, and that is where in the coming weeks and months there is clear and present danger.
And they, in fact, have already done so, Gaurav. You know, as the attacks that you listed in the last 20 seconds have proven, they've attacked all of these places. They've attacked in Jammu, they've attacked in South Kashmir, they've attacked in the valley, they've infiltrated from the north. They've turned south and attacked in Punjab, in Pathankot most recently. So, you know, these are tried and tested routes that the Pakistan military establishment and these terrorists have been using. So for them, it's only a question of taking what's already tried and tested and continuing to fine tune it, with ever better ways of infiltration and, terror management once the infiltration is complete. Now, the fact that the Indian side needs to get its intelligence interception act together to make sure that the infiltration process itself is intercepted obviously leaves something to be desired in this instance. But the fact that the Pakistanis are going to try again and again and again non-stop is beyond doubt. And that's the reason why there's going to be no rest whatsoever. And this investigation needs to deal how to plug those gaps, Gaurav.
Oh, absolutely. So while there is reason to celebrate that 4 Pakistani Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists were neutralized and no collateral damage and no loss of life on own side, it's also a wake-up call because these Pakistani terrorists will try again. Shiv Arur and Mr. Khota, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. We'll be tracking the story very, very closely, but that is all I have time for on this India First 1 hour special. Before I go, I want to leave you with images of the first snowfall in the Kashmir Valley. Take a look at these images and enjoy.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.